earlier I spoke to Israel, a father whose 5-month-old baby's birth certificate was returned defaced and ripped from the Home Office this week after sending it off for a passport application. It's really quite a staggering interview. Here's what he had to say. Israel, for those people coming to this story fresh this morning, what exactly happened? You had your baby's birth certificate, you sent it off as part of a passport application, and then you couldn't quite believe what you got back in the post.
Yeah, on Monday, my wife opened the letterbox and she found inside a soft envelope, just regular office envelope, which is not the regular one that we're getting usually from the passport office, which usually is come in a hard envelope. And when she opened it, she couldn't believe that the actual birth certificate is torn, damaged, and the father place of birth, which is Israel, was just scribbled out with a black pen. And the feeling for that, it's just very hard because my baby was born here. She's British citizen. She's a she's a member of the public, you know. She has nothing to do with Israel. Just the fact that her father was born in Israel, it was a reason for someone to damage her birth certificate and to discriminate her in such an ugly way.
It's absolutely appalling. And also it means now that the birth certificate that you had for your child is now invalidated. Obviously, this hit the headlines last week and the Home Office said they would take action. I understand that some people at the private company that processed this application have been fired. However, are you satisfied overall with the Home Office's response to this?
I was surprised to see the rapidness, how they dealt with the situation. And I must give a good word to the Home Office for the speed and fast reaction. And well, this morning we were issued with a new birth certificate that happily came in the right condition. And yeah, and we were very glad to hear that the Home Office took the matter in the appropriate care, and they were looking into the private company who is in charge in it, and they fired some people.
Yeah, what do you think happened internally? I mean, somebody obviously who's pro-Palestinian just taking a biro to the word Israel.
Yeah, so I think maybe the people over there in this private company didn't get vetted as required by law, or they didn't check the background, you know, like if they have any dangerous opinions that they can bring to the workplace.
Yeah.
And today it's happened to me because I was born in Israel, but tomorrow it can be if someone is not happy with England, they can do the same for any British citizen.
And how do you feel as an Israel-born Jew living in London at the moment? I mean, we've seen these reports on anti-Semitism being on the rise. How does it feel to be a Jewish couple, both born in Israel with young children, dealing with what's been going on in recent months and weeks?
So the feeling, it's very hard. And we can sometimes ourselves, you know, my wife, she's like, she bought herself like self-defense pepper spray because she don't know if something will come up. And as well, when we're going to outing our kids, like wearing a cap, like a baseball cap above their couple. And since everything is start, we taking our kids every morning and afternoon only with the car to school because we don't want any trouble to happen, especially for this sweet kids. They didn't deserve anything bad to happen to them.
No, of course not. But the idea that your wife is having to take self-defense classes, what, because she is literally walking around in fear of being jumped?
Yes. We've been seeing, these videos of people in the train chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. It means free from us. They don't want us, and I see these people, I believe they don't want us there. They don't want us here as well.
Israel, do you have an opinion on the pro-Palestinian marches that have been taking place in London? We saw protesters light up Big Ben with a Free Palestine logo, Free Gaza. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I didn't see marches with such a scale when on daily basis people, Muslim people, the Uyghur people in China, persecuting, been sent to concentration camps. What's going on in Syria for the last, I think, 11 years, and what's going in Ukraine right now. Where is all these peaceful voices when the Jewish blood involved? The story is different. And obviously, I'm not talking in general, the British public. I do see like people coming to me without one words, and they're afraid as well. I'm talking about non-Jewish people that I see day to day. They're telling me they're really worried the way that England's going to.
Yeah, and you'll be familiar, I'm sure, with what's been going on in the House of Commons. The Speaker, Lindsay Hoyle, criticised for obviously selecting that Labour amendment to the SNP notion, calling for a ceasefire. The vote's gone through calling for a ceasefire. First of all, what's your response to that in general, these calls for a ceasefire?
So I think as every human being, we all want ceasefire, but we have friends, people that I know personally that have been kidnapped to Gaza. Okay, just give us our boys and girls back home. They deserve to have a love of a family. They deserve to see their near and dear, and it's as simple as that. And in fact, most of the people that are being kidnapped, they are from the area which is a very left-wing and peace activist in Israel. And these people that got the worst that can happen to them. So we see it's nothing about peace and love, is everything is about just hate.
Yes, you make a good point there, which I think is sometimes missed, that a lot of the people killed on October the 7th, particularly those who went to the peace concert, would have been people who were quite pro-Palestinian, people who would have been calling for a two-state solution.
Yeah, and not only that, on October the 7th in the morning, it should be peace balloon, the annually balloon festival. Every year they used to take balloons for a sign of peace, and a lot of people came specially to this kibbutz to release balloons toward Gaza Strip to show them that they were looking for peace. And these people been butchered, raped, murdered, and as well kidnapped.
I mean, to bring it back to domestic matters, obviously you and your wife and your children are living here now. Are you satisfied that the police are doing enough to protect Jews in the UK?
I think the police trying to do, but unfortunately they're a bit stopped by law about what they can do. And speaking privately to the police officers, they telling me, we are sorry, we can't do much more, and stuff like that.
Israel, when you are personally targeted, or your young baby is targeted, I mean, it must bring it home awfully. How are you feeling about it all now? Because I'd imagine that you and your wife were terribly shaken up by this.
Yeah, we're feeling, just the word for it is frustrated. We just care. That's the word for it. We don't know what's going on. Like, the Home Office supposed to be the most secure place with the most sensitive documents been sent in. So the person that had my baby birth certificate have all our details beside of my trouser size, everything about me.
Yeah. And then for that to be sort of abused in that way is really frightening. I just wanted to ask you what your response was to Prince William's statement in the week. I don't know if you saw it. He courted a little bit of criticism, the heir to the throne, for sort of involving himself in geopolitical matters. As I'm sure you're aware, members of the royal family are meant to be resolutely impartial. And yet some praise the statement because, as well as calling for peace in Gaza and an end to the bloodshed. He also, of course, acknowledged the fact that Hamas had to give up the hostages for there to be peace. What was your reaction to that royal intervention?
Firstly, I have a lot of respect to the royal family, and I think he's intent to do good. And of course, we all want the end of this war. But there is a condition for that. Just bring them home. Simple as that. It could be very easy. Just bring them home. They deserve to live a normal, quiet life in these agricultural communities around Gaza Strip. And I'm assuming by the second they will get home, everything will be quiet. And I think the prince have the power to aim his speech more toward Hamas leaders and the other terrorist organizations in Gaza Strip. Just ask him one simple question. Bring them home.
Okay, Israel, I think that's a great point on which to end. Thank you very much indeed.